Is it also Cree language?
Yes.
So sweet. Can you please tell us something about endangered languages?
Yes.
And what are those root causes that we are losing these languages?
Well, to me, as a linguistic activist, we look at the impact of globalization on languages. And it's political phenomena that means we are becoming more and more less culturally diverse. So, for example, if you look at in regards to the occurrence of disappearance of languages globally, there is real deep concern about this as it impacts the quality of life in communities. So, for example, we heard Dr. Beebe talk about Cree being the strongest Indigenous language in Canada, and that's good. But unfortunately, there are thousands of languages that are scheduled to be moribund or die. And with that loss is the loss of thousands of years of cultural language. And so, as an activist within that, my office here at the university and my colleagues in Alberta established the Canadian Indigenous Languages and Literacy Development Institute, which is now in its 14th year. And so teachers of language and learners come together every summer, and we teach about methodologies, the importance of retaining language, etc.
It sounds really interesting. Can you please tell us something more about those language camps? What do you do and how do you teach and for how many days, and how about the responses and what kind of people are coming to learn those languages? A lot of questions at a time though.
Yes. Well, mostly it's teachers and elders, students, people who want to ensure that the languages survive until, into the future years. But it was organized out of, strangely enough, people who didn't only know the language. Many of us weren't very fluent in our language, but we sensed a need to provide training for people who were speakers of the language, and to focus on methodologies that could, teach community people how to retain that, and provide a place where, we could do the academic work and the literary work. So it's been very successful. 14 years.
Since I'm an immigrant woman, so I know what are the challenges for immigrant communities. So usually I have seen that immigrants are not that much interested to learn other languages, especially indigenous languages. So what is your suggestion? How can you attract immigrant communities to learn Canadian Aboriginal languages?
Well, strangely enough, in the non-credit learning environments here in the city, it's been other than Indigenous speakers coming to learn, but probably not new immigrant communities. I think that there's a divide between new immigrants and us as First Nations. And I think that the biggest challenge that we have is to figure out about developing community that is more inclusive, appreciation of each other's culture. And I think that we start that by having conversations and being more inclusive. We're not very good at being inclusive with new cultures here in Canada. Not just we Indigenous, but more broadly. So it's about developing community from a humane perspective, in my estimation. And as someone who works very closely with particularly students of immigrant students that are new here. Yeah, and I love it. That's my work.
Do you want to learn any Bengali word today?
Sure.
Bhasha.
Pasha.
Bhasha.
Pasha.
It means language.
Language. Ah,
Okay?
Pasha.
Yeah. And now I want to say you one word.
Okay.
Maybe difficult, but I really want to say. Shongram.
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 Chaliye
Talier.
jao.
Jiao.
It means keep up your struggle.
Oh, thank you, Miigwech.